The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
I know it's prison, but why do you all look so sad today?
We both had dreams.
But there is no one to interpret them.
Well, do not interpretations come from God? Tell me your dreams.
In my dream, suddenly, there was a vine in front of me. On the vine were 3 branches, and it was budding. Its blossoms came out, its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, pressed them in Pharaoh's cup, and I put the cup in Pharaoh's palm.
This is what it means. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position. And you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to when you were his cupbearer. But when all goes well with you, remember me and show me kindness. Mention me to Pharaoh and get me out of this prison. I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and even here, I have done nothing to deserve being put in a
Hey,
dungeon.
Joseph. I also had a dream. On my head were 3 baskets of bread. In the top basket were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating them out of the basket on my head.
This is what it means. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift off your head and impale your body on a pole. And the birds will eat away your flesh.
The story of that dreamer boy Joseph has sure been an interesting one. From a slave to being in charge of Potiphar's house to now being placed in the king's prison. This week, we continue the account of Joseph in Genesis chapter 40. We see him make some friends in prison and even assist them with the interpretation of their dreams.
All right, welcome back to another episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. And this week, we are continuing, I think I need a next new name for this, but we are continuing the Chronicles of Joseph.
Right.
I really miss Harry and McGravy.
Yeah. It ain't no more of them, honestly. We'll never hear about Harry again. In this book.
Harry's still living.
Yeah.
And McGravy to that regard, but he's real now.
Yeah,
but I digress. And so now, last week's episode, we really delve into Joseph's life in Egypt. And so now we see, last week's episode ended with him resisting Potiphar's wife, staying humble and true to God, and then his reward for staying true was him, I guess, not dying. So that's a plus. Any day you get to keep your life is a good day. Like you say, any day above ground is a good day.
Right.
But he went from being in charge of Potiphar's household to being a prisoner in the king's prison, which I would assume it's a higher prison like we talked about last week. I should have done a little bit more research in between now and then to really figure that out. But anyway, he was in the king's prison. And we see that in chapter 39 ended with saying that the warden paid no attention to anything into Joseph's care because the Lord was with Joseph and gave Joseph success in everything he did. So we can see Joseph still rose to some level of esteem. And I use that word lightly, but he still rose to some level of esteem in prison.
My biggest thing, and I feel like I only have this feeling because of the time in the history of the world that I live in, But my biggest thing is I wish I could see these things. And I'm saying that because we have reality TV show, we have biopics, we have TV series, documentaries, all these stuff where you can kind of see and kind of get understanding. But bro, I would really love to know the way things transpired and like the amazing stuff that he was able to do within his circumstances to impress people, and for that to be be an inspiration from God through him to give him the point to get him to the place where all of his employers say, I do not have to I do not have to micromanage you. Imagine that you in a prison but they ain't micromanaging you. I'm in prison, bro. Like, think about what you know about prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of security there. Like, it's a lot. You look into everything. You got to search, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that their prisons probably wasn't as advanced as it is in today's age, but I just want to know what he was doing to be so impressive. Like, because I think about it from my perspective as an employee of somewhere, right? I'm a child of God. I believe that God is with me. But if my story was written, I strongly doubt that it would be said that the Lord was with him and Nakhaz excelled at everything that he done. You know what I'm saying? And like, to me, it's just like, man, I gotta step my game up for God, because like I don't think that my work is extraordinary, not even close to the level that Joseph was, And of course, I'm on a different path than Joseph. He had a different like calling, and God had different plans for him, of course. But like, to me, it's just like I just see it as things that I can improve on just from a work aspect. It's somewhere in the Bible. Never mind. I'm not even gonna misquote the Bible, but I know there's a memory text that my grandparents and my mom typically recite to say, like, whatever you put your hand to, you know what I'm saying? Do it to the best of your might, or do it to the Lord's honor and glory, somewhere along that lines. And I feel like that was definitely the approach that Joseph took while even in prison,
Yeah, like this reminded me. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so this reminded me of something you said. Actually, I know you was quoting. I think you was quoting a rapper, but like you said this in episode. I didn't say 3 or 4 or 4 or 5. It's one of the ones with Dominic. But Joseph was like the flower in the dark room, and the line goes, "If a flower bloomed in the dark room, would you trust me?"
Right.
And to me, that's kind of Joseph, because he was still blooming throughout all the darkness that he was experiencing. Like, his light was still shining through the dungeon. And so to me, it's really like, if a flower bloomed in the dark room, would you trust me? And Joseph was really that flower blooming in the dark room, because he was still radiating the presence of God, in a sense. Like, his character of godliness was shining out through Joseph amidst the darkness. And like one thing you said that still like kind of resonated with me just now, like, as a prisoner, what were you doing to gain the regard, like the respect of the head jailer? Because in our modern society, we just can't fathom that, because there's no way a prisoner would be able to essentially run the prison.
Right.
I think it really just goes to show, like, when God is on your side and he has a plan for you, like, you will be exalted. And a line I said in the last week's episode was, when God essentially was saying that, be humble, because at the right time I will exalt you. And I know I don't know why I said David, but Joseph, Joseph was really like experiencing that right now. Like, he was just being humble and staying true to God amidst the darkness, amidst the turmoil in his life. And that brings us to chapter 40. So chapter 40 starts off with, sometime later, a cupbearer and a baker of the king of Egypt offended their master, the king of Egypt. So this would be Pharaoh. King of Egypt, Pharaoh, synonymous, same entity, just for people who may not know. So Pharaoh was angry with his 2 officials and the chief cupbearer, the chief baker, and put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard in the same prison that Joseph was confined. So the captain of the guard would have had to been Potiphar. Am I right or am I wrong? Because wasn't the captain of the guard Potiphar's title? And Potiphar did put them in the king's prison, which would make sense because Pharaoh was imprisoning his cupbearer and his baker. So where else to put them if you're the king other than in your prison?
Yes, that is interesting.
So I just read it and I was like, I wonder, because the captain's guard just had to be fair, like was Potiphar. Anyway, but then
the verse, literally the chapter before, like in the first verse, it said, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard. That's in the first verse of chapter 39.
Yeah, and then so now we're seeing now in 40 verse 4, the captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, which would make sense because Potiphar was like, bro, I already know this guy. Y'all two under him. That one over. And Joseph attended to them. And so, and the Bible, again, doesn't really tell us what the baker or the cupbearer were accused of, because I really want to know. And this thing got nothing to do with the podcast. I personally want to know what they did, because it's like one of those random things that you just want the full story. Like, why did you guys go to prison?
Right. And kings are very sensitive, like hypersensitive, to the point where if you say something that offends them or you don't make them laugh, or, sometimes you can get put to death. Depending on the king, they can put you to death just for nothing. Like, I just feel like putting someone to death today, And so, like, for you to go to prison by the king, by the hand of, for you to, quote, offend the king, it could range from anything. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really wish I knew what were these guys in prison for, because I want to build a case about this prison. I want to build a case to say this was not a very harsh prison. I don't have no evidence to support that, but because it says the king's prison, I have a thought that maybe this was a lighter sentence, and now we see the cupbearer and the chief baker. These aren't the criminals. These aren't the murderers of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? I'm just I don't have enough evidence to come to this conclusion, but the only people who I know that was in this prison with Joseph were working for the king. You know what I'm saying? They were bakers and butlers and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the Bible says the Bible didn't tell us their crimes. And so after they had been in custody for some time, each of the two men, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were being held in prison, had a dream the same night. But each of these dreams had different meanings, as we were going to find out. So I'll pick up in verse 6 now. When Joseph came out the next morning, he saw they were a little off. I mean, granted, in my mind, there's more people in this prison, but the only three people we know right now is Joseph, the cupbearer, and the baker. And since they were under his care, I can know he probably had a special caring for them. So you see, he woke up the next one and saying, man, I know we in prison, but golly, you guys look like you guys just ain't yourselves. So what's happening? What's happening? And he literally, and so he asked the Pharaoh's officials when custody, like, why do you look so sad today? Joseph just seemed like such a nice stand-up guy.
You and all you doing and thing.
Like, so caring.
Why the long face, bro? I'm in prison. What you mean, why the long face, bro? What is there to be happy about, bro?
And so they said, we both had dreams, but there's no one to interpret them. And Joseph, being the dreamer that he is,
oh boy,
he's like, I can imagine, well, funny story. Really and truly, I'm here because of a dream.
Right. It all started because of a dream. But this the thing though, bro. Like when I learned this story as a child, it always like interests me, like how this guy just, of course, dreams, interpretations come from God. But how did you become this channel of interpretations all of a sudden? You had dreams of your own, you know what I'm saying? And they perplexed everybody, and there was no specific interpretations. Granted, they were kind of straightforward now, you know what I'm saying? But there wasn't no interpretations, like to the degree that you gave this. And like, to me, it was just like, when that happened, bro? Like when you
became
when you get this skill.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes me think too. I want to get the audience comments on this. Like, do you guys actually think, if you guys who are actually watching on YouTube, do you actually think like Joseph was like interpreting dreams in between the time he got the first dream and until now? Because we have no other recollection of him interpreting anybody's dreams.
Yeah.
And he did it with such confidence. He's like, oh yeah, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams. Like
Right.
with such confidence, like, okay, guess what? Yeah, I will interpret your dream for you. And this interpretation will be correct. I'm not guessing with this. Tell me your dream, and I know God is going to provide me. And I'm like,
see, that's that Godfidence. My boy, my former roommate in college, he used to tell me something called Godfidence, like not confidence, just Godfidence. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Confidence meaning like in yourself, but Godfidence meaning like confidence in God type of situation. And you know, and that come with faith. That come with a lot of faith. You know,
a
this is
lot of faith.
you know, there's a amount of faith, but I feel like inspiration is another thing too, though, because a lot of times we speak through inspiration and we don't even know that we're being inspired. Like you and I, when we get on this podcast, we discuss our talking points sometimes, and sometimes we go rogue, and it's like we don't know where and it's like we don't know where this ideas come from, but they're so like informative, and they're so like sometimes we teach ourselves stuff while we're talking, and
In
it's
the
like
podcast, yep.
in the pod, we're like, what? That, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even, I didn't think of that because it didn't come from me. It come from God. It come from the Holy Spirit. And so like, it could be a point where Joseph just felt the inspiration and God spoke through him. You know what I'm saying? Saying this thing, and then afterwards he could have been like, bro, I didn't even know, all praises to God. I didn't even know that was something that you would use me for.
Mhm. But I still think with the confidence Joseph approached this with, he had done this a few times before and got it
Probably.
right.
Probably.
Because to me, it wasn't no, guessing. Like, I don't know. I just think Joseph had so much confidence in doing this. Like, this wasn't his first time. And I could be very wrong. Speculation, the Bible doesn't say. We have no.
We ain't gonna have no way to prove this, I don't think. But one thing we do know is that dreaming is a continuous concept within the story of Joseph. That's probably one thing that when you think of Joseph, you besides the coat of many colors, you think about dreams. You think about dreams for sure. So he was the dream master.
So now we see the chief cupbearer went first. He said, in my dream, I saw a vine in front of me, and on that vine there were 3 branches, and as soon as it budded, it blossomed, and the clusters of grapes ripened, and Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and I squeezed them into the cup for Pharaoh, and I put the cup in Pharaoh's hand. Such a pleasant dream. I mean,
why was he distressed?
Yeah, I'm like, you just dreamed, you did your job.
Imagine you tell somebody that, right? Imagine you look so sad, bro. And then they're like, yeah, bro, it's sad because no one can interpret this dream for me. And you tell them the dream, and then they're like, wait, that's it? That's what you sad about? But I guess it's the anxiety of whatever crime he committed, or the anger that, Pharaoh had towards him while sentencing him to go to jail, and just the anxiety he would feel just not knowing what his fate would be because of this, because like nobody like being in trouble, especially if it's something serious like that, and this ain't even something that you do continuously. Like I can see the anxiety, but that dream to me, I don't seem like a pretty chill dream. Like that's them type of dreams when I forget when I wake up. You know what I mean? You know the dreams that you dream something and I had a dream, but then like it just disappear out of your mind. Like, but maybe go for it, right, Bob?
No, I mean, like something just came to me too, because. And this goes back to the topic of dreams, like why Joseph was probably so, I guess, confident saying, do not the interpretations of dreams come from God? Because I was just thinking about it, like, who was his father?
Jacob, also a dreamer.
Bing, right? Yeah. And you can think about, like, this man had the most, well, I guess, up to this point, recent in the story, in my opinion, one of the most prominent dreams, Jacob's dream, the dream of the lotto. And so think about it, like, he's just like, yeah, like, throughout all of my ancestors' lineage, God has been talking to them in different dreams. Because I think we even saw where God came to Abimelech in a dream. God came to Laban in a dream to tell him that don't mess with Jacob when he pulled up on Jacob for stealing his idols. Yeah. So I even think like, when I was just thinking back about it, God has talked to so many of these patriarchs in dreams. Because think about it, they have to wake up in the morning like, what did this dream mean? And And God still interpreted the dream for them or knew, but God was coming to them in dreams. So Joseph might have been like, yeah, this has been happening in my family. So I could understand what dreams mean. Plus, I had dreams of my own as well.
And that's why his brothers were so upset about his dream. Because I was thinking about it and I'm like, bro, why are you getting mad at your dream? Like I've been in situations where like a girlfriend or somebody dreamed something about me and it upset them to the point where they're upset with me because of what they dreamt. And to me, I'm like, that's a personal issue. I like don't even involve me. That stuff was going on in your world, you know? But when Joseph told his brothers that dream, they didn't have that type of attitude. They were just like, oh wow, so what you saying? Because they knew that dreams do have meanings. I think Rebecca, Isaac's wife, I think God spoke to her in a dream, or maybe he came to her in person, but remember he was saying that the younger would serve the older. Right. So it's like, this isn't something far-fetched. As a matter of fact, this is very common. So Joseph, I can see where Joseph was like, that's why he had the confidence too, though. You know what I'm saying? He's like, wait, hold on, wait. Y'all don't know this? Dreams come from God. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I am close to God. I can help for sure. You know?
Yo, and like I just found a verse, Jeremiah 23:28. The prophet who has a dream, let him tell a dream. And he who has my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff of wheat, says the Lord? But essentially, God was saying, and earlier, just reading up verse 25, I have heard what the prophets who have said, prophecy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed a dream. How long will this be in the heart of the prophets, and who prophesy lies? Essentially, this Jeremiah 23, which is talking about like some prophets who were claiming they have dreams from the Lord, but they weren't. So they were like false prophets. But God was also saying, like, I do give some of my actual prophets dreams. And if you actually have a dream from me, still tell the dream. And you actually get my words, tell the words. But just showing that God does work through dreams. So, random side note, I guess. Us unpacking the dreaming, but just kind of came to me. And I guess Kazi too at the same time. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Where were we?
Yeah, we were talking about, we just finished the first dream.
Oh, the cupbearer. So yeah. So now Joseph, and then we see Joseph interpret the dream without a hitch. Oh yeah. So yeah, those 3 branches. Oh yeah. So those are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will come lift up your head and restore you to your position, and you will put the cup back in Pharaoh's arm, just as he used to with his cupbearer. But when all goes well with you, when now we see Joseph is saying, okay, he's saying, okay, now I'm gonna say my piece. But even before that, to me, not even being able to interpret dreams right now, or haven't ever really, interpret a dream in this kind of regard. I feel like I probably could have come up with that. Like, I'm not discrediting the Bible, but I'm like, I guess it's in hindsight as 2020. Yeah. But I'm like, the cupbearer's dream, like we were just saying, I don't know why you're mad. You literally dreamed that you were doing what you did before, putting a cup in Pharaoh's hand. See, but you dreamed you went to work.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
you can overthink it too, though. You can overthink it.
I guess. Because Joseph just told him the same thing. Yeah, the only thing Joseph, to me was like, bro, yeah, the three branches was 3 days. But other than that, Joseph told him, yeah, you're going back to work.
Okay, now watch this, right? I feel like the reason why they both were so, well, I can say this point after we finish, after we get to the next dream.
Okay, so now Joseph say, yeah, so when all goes well with you, just remember me, show me kindness, please, mention me to the Pharaoh so I could get out of prison, please. Mm-hmm. And Joseph, maybe see how Joseph,
he reasoning hard now.
He reasoning hard, and like he does, but like I shouldn't say every, but like every person in a movie would do today, like, bro, I innocent, bro. Like they carried me off from the land of the Hebrews. Even in here, I did nothing wrong. Everybody in prison innocent, and I do not deserve to be put in this dungeon. But yeah, man. So now we see the chief baker. So now the chief baker was like, hold on. The cupbearer's dream went so good, I might as well find out what mine's going to be, because how bad could it be?
He's the bearer of good news.
Exactly.
Joseph is, yeah.
Exactly. So now we see, picking up in verse 16, 40 verse 16, when the chief baker saw that Joseph had given a very favorable interpretation, he said to Joseph, hey, I too have a dream. On my head, there were baskets of bread. And on top of these baskets were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh. But the birds were eating them out of my basket on my head. Now, to me, and this Earl Roberts speaking again, the second, right? One just had something good happen. Now, to me, if you was a baker and the birds eating the food out of your basket that you bake for Pharaoh, that ain't good. That ain't good.
But to what extent? What extent is it bad though?
To me, if Pharaoh wants his bread and you on the way to deliver that said bread to Pharaoh, you don't want to be late in delivering that bread to Pharaoh. So if the birds eat that bread, you are then screwed because you have to make this bread from scratch. And my Grammy is make bread. And I know you have to, put all them ingredients together, wait for the dough to rise. I don't know what type of bread they made in Egypt back in the day, but I just assume it. It takes time to knead the dough, bake it. And he said this couple of loaves. I'm saying, so he had a good sized dough he was making. You got to let the bread rise. You got to go bake it. And baking the bread is take time. So I'm like, if the birds eat the bread while you're on the way to delivering them to Pharaoh, that is not good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It could be I could stay in prison, not good, or it could be I will die, not good, or it could be I will get demoted, not good. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the chief baker, so you could just go down a couple of ranks, So like to what extent? So I feel like that could have even been adding more anxiety to him. Like what does it mean? What it mean when birds eat your bread? In the Bahamas, we say dog eat your lunch. You know what I'm saying? That means you out of luck. You feel me? So bird eat your bread, bro. But hey, you can't. What could you do you can't fault the man from trying because he see that Joseph so easily just giving out good news. Man, I might as well try too. Like, shoot, this could just be a misunderstanding.
Boy, oh boy, I don't know. Like I say, I guess hindsight is 2020 since I know this story. I mean, I was like 5, 6. You know what I'm saying? You just know what's gonna happen. So I might just be too hard on the baker being so optimistic, I guess.
But then guess what though? Optimistic or not, you would still want to know the your fate.
Sometimes they say ignorance is bliss.
Sure, but that's the thing, bro. Because like ignorance is bliss, right?
I personally don't believe in that, but I'm just saying the saying, yeah.
No, I do believe in it. Not in this way. Because trust me, bro. Bro, that's like like imagine you go to trial and someone say you get sentenced to have a punishment, no context, and now you just waiting in jail, and you won't know if you're there forever. You won't know if you could die tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like to me, that ain't bliss. That's not bliss. That's anxiety, especially in the early stages or whatever. So I can understand him saying, man, I just want to know what could happen to me, dog. And if you giving out good news, bring it on.
So now Joseph started to interpret their dreams, right? So Joseph said, okay, guess what? Yeah, 3 baskets, also 3 days. I can imagine Chief Baker, okay, I like the sound of that, 3 days, stand the line up. And he say, okay, within 3 days, Pharaoh will also lift you off of your head. Okay, I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. So good so far. All right. But impale your body on a pole. I can just imagine the baker say, come again?
What? I beg your pardon?
I'm going to be baking on a pole? What? Oh, no.
You're the bread.
And the birds will eat your flesh.
No. You're the bread in this analogy, bro. You're missing the point.
Just like how the bird ate the bread in your analogy. So there will also be birds in real life, but your flesh is now the bread. No reference to Jesus.
I wonder what this guy had done. But anyway, my point was that I feel like the 2 servants were so distraught maybe because of everything that went on, like the imprisonment and all that, but maybe because of how lucid the dream was. Because personally, I've had a lucid dream, one dream that was so real that it disturbed me. And bro, trust me, I was just like them. I was just like them that whole day. And let me tell you, God's so good because I did everything in my power to ignore the dream.
Mercy.
You know what I mean? The dream is about the end times.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, even talking about this, bro, I had this would be my second dream like that, bro. But this one was very, bro, this one was so clear. This one was so clear. It was so real, you know? And my dream did not end. It ended with me just not knowing what to do. I was ready to do something about it, but I didn't know what to do, bro. And I might be wrong, bro. I might be wrong, but I feel like after that dream, you and I started our Bible study. I might be wrong.
We did.
But all right, because I remember that told me I need to know what's gonna happen in the last days. Because I don't know what's happening. Because my dream is just, you know, oh man, it just did a number on me. And I did everything in my power to forget it. I listen to music. I try to make music. I go to the gym, and I forget about it while I'm in the gym. But then I start listening to a song that grieved my soul, and it reminded me of the dream, you know. And God is so good because I have a friend who's a theology major, bro, that got stranded in our city that same day. And he was like, yo, man, if you don't got, you know, if it ain't too much trouble, could you pick me up? I'm stranded. And I'm like, what? I'd pick you up instantly, bro, because that was my Joseph. I was like, bro, I was like, yo, come interpret this dream, dog. Come interpret this dream. And he was basically telling me, bro, that the dream is self-explanatory, bro. Like, it's going to be a time and we have to prepare for the last days. And guess what? The last days, you don't have to live and be in the last days. Your last days can happen any day. You know what I mean? Any day can be your last days, bro. You don't have to wait until Jesus' about to come. Your world can end. I remember in 2012 when everybody was so, September 21st, I think, everybody was going crazy because it's like, oh, the world's about to end. Bro, your world can end any day. You know what I mean? If that's how y'all living on the day when y'all feel like this is your last day on earth, you should treat every day like that. If you're getting your soul right and all that, you should always consider that. Because your world can end any day. Tomorrow ain't never promised. You understand what I'm saying? And I was just telling him, I was like, bro, I just been praying, dog. I've been praying, God, let me see the dream again. Let me see the dream again. Let me see, give me some more, give me some more. And he was like, bro, where in the Bible you see that? Where in the Bible you see someone start a dream and then it continue? You know what I mean? And honest to God, that's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. I was like, all right, because I know what I saw. It was like when Abraham got the dream from God to sacrifice Isaac. You know what you saw, you know what you're supposed to do, bro. But it's like everything in your mind saying, this can't be it. This can't be it. Bro.
Yeah.
Can't be it, bro. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. How am I supposed to be killing my son? You know what I mean? But it come a time and you gotta be like, all right, let me stop confusing myself. This doubt, this self-inflicted doubt. You know, this ain't reasonable doubt. You know what I mean? Like you putting this on yourself, dog. You know?
Exactly.
And so, like, because of that, and I know this is like a little tangent just on dreams, but because of that, I can understand why even the cupbearer whose dream was a pleasant dream, it was disturbing to him because what does this mean? You know what I mean? This left such an impression on me. What could this have meant?
And then so this is gonna be another tangent, but a part of the story that just came to me, or something I just realized, that I respect Joseph for being faithful to deliver the whole message of God. And the reason why I say the whole message of God, and this is gonna be, I'm gonna just say it, right? Some religious leaders in our day would not have been comfortable telling the bad news to the baker.
That's true.
Some religious leaders might have just been so okay with just saying, yeah, I already spoke the good news to the cupbearer, told you everything's going to be all right, told you everything's going to be good. 3 days you're going to be all hunky-dory. Why I say hunky-dory, I don't know. But everything's going to be okay. But then they would refuse to tell the baker, who's right there needing to know what's going to happen to him. They refuse to tell him the bad. Like how many people who are willing to preach the cupbearer sermon, but are super unwilling to preach the baker sermon?
That's true.
Because you don't see a lot of the baker sermon in our day anymore.
Let me tell you, bro. I'm not just think back to 2019, bro. Think about every pastor that tell you, this is about to be the best this year on XYZ. Think about that. Like to me, it's like blanket statements like that. That should bother you. It can't be everybody year. It can't be. You know what I mean? And then what qualifies us for this year? You know why God like a lot of times these blessings that we want could be God enabling us to stray away further from Him. So why would He give us that? Like in certain things, I believe. Like, because think about this, right? Joseph. By the time we know how Joseph's stories end, I'm not gonna give it away. But Joseph had already built enough job experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So back to the new level situation. He was in a good level. Potiphar, he overcame the adversity of being a slave, right? Coming up the ranks. That takes faith. But now you reach a new level and you reach theoretically a new devil. You have to do this now in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? What God about to the position God have for you in the end, you gotta be tested, bro. You gotta be battle tested. You know what I'm saying? And you can't fold because you ain't gonna be ready for that. You understand? And like, and like, I just feel like the things that sometimes preachers try to paint for you, sometimes it don't be blessings, bro. Like it seems like blessings, and so, to someone else it might be a blessing, but that could be a curse, bro. You understand? Like this new position, bro, this could lead you far away from your family and your wife. Like, and I remember it was a song that I used to like. It was about a guy who was a R&B singer, and his career came in between him and the love of his life. And he said, if I knew this can be like that, I don't want to sing no more. If that's how it could be, I don't want to sing no more. You know what I mean? And like a lot of times, like the things that we truly desire could really be putting a discord between us and God, bro. And I see that even in my life. I see that in the art I create. The one thing that keeps me like really close to God and like a slave to God is like in terms of art is the creativity of it. Because I know this doesn't come from me. I know this is pure inspiration. I'm like a fiend for that, bro. Like because what my regimen is I get up in the morning, I pray earnestly and I study earnestly, and that opens my mind. That's like it's like I create well when I'm in a good mood. You feel me? And so when I start my day out like that, I'm in a really good mood. You feel me? And it reflects in my art, so I can create well. But bro, when I make a hit, bro, if I make a hit on Friday, bro, that hit running through my mind all Friday night, bro, distracting me from keeping the Sabbath holy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can understand God saying, bro, I ain't giving you this hit, bro, because all you could do is concern yourself with this hit all night. You know what I mean? And so like I just thinking about like what you're saying with Joseph, bro. Like it's a blessing, and it's really admirable that he tell the truth and the whole truth. Because one, as a slave, as someone who does not know his fate, I can see people not wanting to see other people happy. I don't want to see you happy. Why telling you this, bro? But we see how it could benefit him. All right, I telling you this, and please remember me. But the other guy, this ain't benefiting me at all either. I can see if he did only tell the cupbearer the bad news. You know what I mean? Like misery love company type of situation. Or if he just lie, I can't break his heart. I don't want to hurt his feelings, bro. I do that when I see my friends who, let's say someone come to visit me and they don't want to keep the Sabbath. Sometimes I just allow them. You in my house, bro. That's a sin. You should keep thou not thy son nor thy daughter, man servant, maid servant, cattle, stranger that is within thy gates. Basically, anybody in your household have to keep the Sabbath, bro. But sometimes I find myself in situations where people who, because you don't know the Sabbath, I don't want this to be such a big culture shock. I don't want to ruin the ambience I don't want to ruin the vibe, by keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? So like the flower in the dark room. Go back to this, bro. I used to feel like God can't go hard on me for not being disciplined and not sticking to his law because it's not cool to stick to his law. When I went to Oakwood University, that was the first time in my life I was in a community that was Adventist. I didn't have to explain myself. If my friends wanted to go out on a Friday night and I told them no, there was not, they could peer pressure me, but they understood.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, when I was asked to play basketball and to practice on the Sabbath, and I told them no, one, because I couldn't and I wanted to, but I literally couldn't in my family. You know what I'm saying?
I know that struggle.
I had a coach who hold that over my head. Like, he would throw jazz sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm just like, all right, so I sure God understand if I fall because of this, because this ain't no easy atmosphere to even be in. You know what I'm saying? But we can see where Joseph, but like literally Noah is in a world where everything they thought was evil, you know, and he still was the light. You know, Joseph was in a line of pagans. They didn't even speak the language that you spoke. They definitely don't understand you. And he was the light. I don't have no excuse. You don't have no excuse. Nobody have an excuse. Because we still held to the standard to uphold God's law, or to be righteous, or to please God.
Bro, you said it so perfectly. I don't even want to touch it anymore. But the only thing I'm going to add is just, again, the new levels, new devils, right? And you said like none of us have nothing to no excuse. And just to piggyback on that one thought right there, I guess those two thoughts. Jesus himself, before he started his ministry, what happened? He was led after 40 days and 40 nights of fasting and praying. He was led in his weakened human state into the desert by the Holy Spirit to not be tempted by a little demon like how we get tempted. He was tempted by the devil himself. In form, the devil appeared in the desert to tempt Jesus. And Jesus did not fall. So I'm saying that because I'm like, he's in this weakened state. A lot of people can't even survive fasting for a week. Fasting for a couple of days can be hard mentally. I think it's more of a mental thing than an actual body thing. Me personally, even though your stomach does be growling. Don't get me wrong. But Jesus, 40 days and 40 nights fasting, get led into the desert to be tempted by the devil himself, and he did not fall. And we can't say it was anything, so what's our excuse? Because no demon ever stepped to Jesus. We see some demons had a hard time even stepping to Peter and Paul. Like demons literally told some other flammers saying, Peter I know, Paul I know, Jesus I know. Who are you guys coming? Who y'all think y'all is coming to me? So Jesus had the devil himself tempt him, and he didn't fall. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the only thing I want to like piggyback about that, because I'm like, it's so easy just to get caught up in all the good of the world, but we have to take the good with the bad, and we have to know that, just like you say perfectly, like sometimes what we think is good. Because think about, the devil showed Jesus all the blessings of the world, all the riches, all the titles, all the fame, all the glory, even food, because the man was hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Jesus said, you might think that's good, but I know my kingdom, and nothing you could give me that's good is better than that kingdom that I got in heaven. Nothing. And then that's how we got to approach certain things too, because nothing is better than that kingdom. What?
No, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt, bro.
No, it's all good. I just say like this is how that's just how we have to approach some of these things, because like we get so caught up in wanting so much things in this world. I know that's me personally too. Some things I get caught up, like just the personal success. But I think it's Solomon who says it, like in Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
Like it's just like chasing after the wind or chasing after the vapor. Like
at the end of the
day is meaningless, and it's coming from Solomon, a guy who had everything,
including wisdom, the most wisdom out of anybody who ever lived.
Exactly. So it's powerful sometimes to take a step back and just analyze things in their entirety and seeing how could this, what I want as a blessing, might actually be a curse, a detriment to me. Because I mean, think about it. God ultimate will for all of his children is to make it into heaven, that not one might be lost. Like we see the parables in the New Testament talking about how much praise and rejoicing it is if one sheep comes back into the fold, if one lost sheep, with the shepherd leave the 99 to search for the one lost coin, searching all day and night, and then throwing a party when this one coin is found. How much rejoicing is happening in heaven when one soul comes back to God. So I just think it's just important to step back and just analyze some of these things. Like, and it's so funny, we just came all of this off of a dream that we were, I guess, downplaying a couple of minutes ago. But now just look how powerful dreams can be into play. And then look how powerful the story is. Just knowing that, yeah, sometimes all of these feel good sermons, while they are feel good, sometimes you actually to know the truth that's happening out there in the world, what's actually happening, the state of the world, and you actually get your spiritual life in order. Because at the end of the day, God's ultimate will for you is to join in his kingdom in heaven.
So I was on a virtual wedding this week, and a pastor said a text that my mother wanted us to commit to memory at a young age. Is 1 Corinthians 13. I actually never did commit it to memory, but when I heard this text as an adult, this really touched me. It says, if I speak in the tongues of men or angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Right? And bro, trust me, when in my family group chat, I expounded on this for like 5 minutes because that really, really touched me. And my thing is, you can't study the word of God for reasons that don't have nothing to do with God. And that was something that was very hard for me to believe, because when I see all of these pastors, even, bro, it's a lot of pastors who have they're amazing public speakers. And I point that out because they hold on to our hearts. You understand? They move us, you know?
Man, no, I don't lose your point, but like, I just want to piggyback off that one thought you just said right now, because you know who knows the Bible better than everybody here on earth? The devil.
Yep.
Because he was in heaven.
He was there, bro. Like, all the way, yeah.
Like, he knows the Bible, he knows God better than any one of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to like piggyback with some of our other points too. So just don't lose your thought. But like, just like you said, like people could read the Bible but not have that love for God. Because think about it, just like if we say anything you want in the Bible, you could find action, drama, mystery, comedy, all these things. A lot of atheists and I'm gonna just say
people
of
other religions.
A lot of them read the Bible just to know what's in it and just treat it as a historical book or just another book. I mean, because granted, I've read parts of the Quran, I guess the actual English version. I've read parts of the Book of Mormon, you know, but I don't believe in what they're saying, but I want to know what they believe so I can relate to them, as in, you know, talk about our beliefs in our, I guess,
objective way,
and you know, just like a respectful way, man, have an actual intelligent conversation about that kind of stuff. So I actually want to know what other people believe, and also, and if I know what you believe, I can also talk to you about what I believe too, and we actually have an intelligent conversation. But that's all I want to say. Like, people read the Bible not to get anything from it, but just to know it. But they don't take it seriously, and it's kind of sad. It's really sad. But okay, that's my tangent.
So now watch this. So you have people who are really good public speakers, right? And they go on to learn the Bible. So they can move you in terms, like they can preach and it can move you, bro. It can make a lot of sense. And some of these things are applicable, bro. But if you're not doing this out of love, bro, you are making noise, bro. Essentially what the Bible's saying, bro. You are a sounding brass or a twinkling cymbal, bro. You are a resounding gong. You understand? Or a class of cymbals, bro. You're just making noise, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you could see noise because a lot of things people say, especially people in these big mega churches, bro, it has no substance, bro. It does not age well, you know? And so like my thing is, bro, I really struggled to understand how these people were not of God. And I'm not going to class all people with big platforms to say not of God, but I'm going to say a lot of the theatrics that you see in church on TV, bro, it's not a reflective of what's actually in the Bible. And I'm learning that as I actually read the Bible, bro. This brand of Christianity that is commercialized, bro, Christ didn't even live like this a lot of times, bro. And that's the irony of it all, bro, because the Pharisees were living a certain way and they were telling you, bro, this is how God would want us to live. But they didn't know they was actually talking to God. You was telling God, this is how you should live. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they definitely had it wrong, you know? And so it's like, even knowing that, I find it hard to believe that our spiritual leaders could get it wrong. And while listening to this text this week, it helped me to understand, because they were saying, bro, you could give to the poor, bro. You could do all of this stuff. And I'm just like, how could you do all of that without having love, bro? And it's a lot of things that motivate. Some people do this with other motives. They want the name, you know what I'm saying? It could just be for the money. It could just be the cash grab. And then literally Christianity is a culture too. You know what I'm saying? You might like speaking in tongues. You might like running around in church, bro. You might just like dressing up and going to church, bro. This stuff makes you feel good because it is God and it is the Holy Spirit working. You might enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, if you're not doing these things out of love, you're just making noise, or you just doing it for nothing. You are nothing if it doesn't involve love. And the point I'm making is that Joseph and everything he is doing now is love. It's the love factor. I am not just telling you this because I'm your boss. I'm not just telling you this because I may be the only representation of God. I'm telling you this because I love you at the end of the day. And I feel like that's an even bigger play right there. Like, because it's better. I've heard somebody say that it's better to be righteous than to be right. Right? You know what I'm saying? Right deals with a law or a fact. This is right. This is correct. This is the right way to do something. But is it the right thing to do? You know what I'm saying? Is it righteous? My thing is, bro, it was right not to pick corn on the Sabbath. But is it righteous, bro? The righteous thing to do is to care for your body, bro. Because at the end of the day, the Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath. We getting too caught up on what's the right thing and what's the wrong thing to do that you forget the love factor. Because you could do the right thing and not be out of love. You understand?
Exactly.
The right thing to do is to not work on the Sabbath. So if your ox fall in a ditch, you're not going to get that ox out on the Sabbath because it's the right thing to do. But where's the love, bro? If you love your ox, you're going to get your ox out because and at the end of the day, that's righteous because you're doing this thing out of love, bro. That's the bottom line. Like, I feel like, and that's why Jesus say, that's why I remember when Jesus turned around and said, but the only commandment is to love the Lord with all your heart and to love your neighbor as yourself. Because love is literally the only commandments, bro. Everything that I've put in place, bro, is to help you to love. It's to help you to love me. It's to help you to love others.
Others, yep.
That's just boils down. If you love, bro, if I love you, bro, I'm not going to covet your wife. I'm not going to covet your dwelling. I'm not going to bear false witness on you. I'm not going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? If I love my mother and father, I'm going to honor them, etc. You know, like at the end of the day, it boils down to love, bro. And this is an even deeper topic than Joseph. And I'm glad for this too, because we have much more to go with Joseph. You know, I think we're about at the halfway mark.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and this is really just inspiring, like a different like line of thought, like related to the story.
Yeah, like, man, Joseph. Like we were talking earlier, like some of our conversations in the podcast just becomes inspired in pod. This is one of those examples because we never planned to be talking about this, the Joseph story, before this episode at all. But it just shows how the Holy Spirit works. Things come to your mind, things come to your heart, and then we just have a conversation about it. And like we say, we always want to get you guys involved in the conversation too. So, I mean, if you're on YouTube, feel free to comment. Feel free to email us with your thoughts on this topic as well, because I mean, we just love to hear feedback from you guys. Where were we in Joseph? Yeah, so
last text.
Yeah, I think it was on 20. 40 verse 20.
Yeah.
So we see 3 days from now, because we know Joseph said in both the 3 baskets and the 3 branches represented 3 days. And so the Bible tells us that in verse 20 that now the 3rd day was Pharaoh's birthday, which, okay, Pharaoh had a birthday. Like,
Happy birthday, I guess.
just a coincidence, right? Just a
Right,
coincidence.
yeah.
And so Pharaoh had a big feast for all of his officials. And he lifted the heads up of the cupbearer and the chief baker in his presence of his officials. And so I'm just in my head canon, I'm picturing Pharaoh, I guess, wanting more wine and some bread for whatever reason. He's like, "Where's my cupbearer? Where's my baker? Your Royal Highness, they're in the prison. Who put them in the prison? Anyway, bring them up." And then he instantly sees his baker, and I guess he's reminded of what crime, or he brought him in the presence of his officials. Either they were judged. I don't know. All we know is he had a birthday. He threw a great feast. He's the king, so I can assume it was a feast with wine. I mean, that's what the cupbearer purpose was. I mean, he literally just brought a cup to the Pharaoh. And so he had this big feast. Yes, he bring them up. And then so after that, he restored the cupbearer, just as Joseph said that was going to happen from interpreting the dreams. And so the cupbearer once again put the cup in Pharaoh's hand. And then the baker, he impaled the baker, and we still don't know what the baker did. Just as Joseph said, the baker got impaled, and I guess the birds ate his flesh off of the pole, and the cupbearer was restored to his rightful position as the cupbearer, and he was once again placing the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But we also see how Joseph, as we said, reasoned with the cupbearer as he pleaded his case, and he said, "Hey, when you get out of here, I know you're about to get out." He just said, "Just remember me." Like it's so simple, but you could just, I personally could feel the desperation or like the humility, or just saying, "Hey, you have a logical shot of getting out of here. Me, I have no idea when I'm getting out of here. I'm just asking you, just remember me when you get out. Just talk. Just. I ain't even telling you what to say, really and truly. Just say, you Pharaoh, there's a guy in prison who actually interpreted this was going to happen for me." He's like, "Whatever the Lord do with that, the Lord do with that. But just say my name, please. Don't forget me." But it just shows how sometimes we get so caught up in enjoying our blessings that we forget the blesser. Shout out to episode "Thanks is on the menu." But like it goes again, how often we enjoy our blessings and we forget the ones who blessed us. Because like now, think about it, for those next 3 days, as we kind of talked about briefly earlier, the cupbearer knew his fate. So now, any task you give me in prison, I have a little extra smile on my face because I know I'm getting out. I'm getting out tomorrow. I know I only got 3 days left. Day 3, day 2, day 1. I only got one more night left here. Hey, I'm one sleep away from being closer to my freedom. So now I have an extra smile on my face. I have a little extra pep in my step. I don't really care what's going to happen because I know where my future lies. I know my destiny. But when he got out, he forgot the one who gave him that blessing, the one who gave him that peace of mind, the one who gave him that security. He was so busy being a free man again, I guess, enjoying time with his wife. If he had kids, I'm sure he had some type of lifestyle going on outside of just giving Pharaoh wine in a cup. But he got so accustomed to being that cupbearer again, he forgot Joseph. And I think that just harkens back to how many times like we forget those who have helped us out. I mean, because like one thing I read before, I was in a devotion a couple of years ago, but like no one get to where they are by themselves. And like the one blessing that we all take for granted is the people in our lives. Because the people we surround ourselves with help us. I mean, or help us get in the predicament that we're in, because no one builds a company by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, you might be the founder, you might be the idea, but at a certain point, you start bringing on people on board to help build your dream, and you actually need these people because without them, you can't get to where you want to go. Even if you have a business, you still need your customers to, support your business. You still need to make deals with other people. So like you still need to have people in your life who assist with your blessing. And it's always good to be a blessing back to them. But the cupbearer, at least initially, failed in this regard. I mean, the Bible says right there, the cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. He literally said he forgot him. Like it wasn't even like
I didn't forget that, bro.
it wasn't even like he was waiting for the right time. Like you can see, like he said, okay, maybe now I'm gonna be the right time. I'll bring it up when he's probably out of his drunken stupor or something. No, this man got out and he forgot about Joseph. Like, yeah, my life is so good, bro. Thanks for what you did, but you're out of my mind. I'm literally putting all of my prison days in a box. I'm throwing that so far back in my mind. I'm just deleting that from my personality.
I mean, I don't have the best memory, but I barely forget things. But there have been times when I sincerely forgot to do something. You know, and I beat myself up like, bro, how did this completely slip your mind? So I feel like honestly, when just getting back to work, you know, just push everything back and back. And, you know, he probably had a lot of just different tasks and just celebrating being free. It's like, I ain't care, but he probably ain't even care that much to remember. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't high on the priority list to begin with, for real, you know? So yeah, that sucks, bro, because Joseph taking L. You know what I mean? Once again.
And I think I'm trying to even like just put my place in Joseph's shoes, right? Like, at what point did Joseph really think the cupbearer either like totally forgot about him or just like blatantly dissed him? Because I'm like, okay, I know it's the third day. I can even imagine Joseph saying, yeah, it's the third day, man. You know, wish you all the best, man. Hey, don't forget me though, you know, but wish you all the best. That day ends, nothing. The next day comes, nothing. 2 days come, nothing. A week comes, nothing. Maybe even a month or two, nothing. Like, I've been like, dang, this guy really dissed me.
Yeah, that's a blow. That's a blow. But, you know, the Lord still had a plan for Joseph. And it was good to see that even during this time when he met with those people, he was still in high spirits. You know what I'm saying? And he was still fully reliant on God, and the Holy Spirit was working with him. One thing that I did want to mention, though, is that, like, when I think of slavery, bro, like, I just think about, like, salvation and slavery. And, like, how easy is it to be pious as a slave, especially the ones who was born into slavery, you know? How easy is it to just accept this, bro? Like, even just looking at the after effects of all of this, bro. I've like, it's a lot of black movies that I've watched where people are not speaking kindly of God. And even to this day, some people who feel like Christianity is the white man's religion. I don't know if we tackle that on this thing, but that is just completely false, bro. And it's like, how could you even think that, bro? Like, slavery came about like over 1,000 years after the Bible was even written and after Jesus lived, and, you know, all that stuff. But like, when I think about that, I just think about like what's the slave's fate, you know, in all of this? Slaves of any race, because there's been many slaves, just many different races, you know. But we can see where Joseph, even while enslaved, he held on to like the light at the end of the tunnel, you know. And like, to me, that's I don't know, man. That's just wild to me, bro. That's wild, bro. Like, at what point do you get discouraged, you know? And then, I mentioned this quote before, like, you know, I heard a pastor say, if God stopped blessing me today, he's already been too good for me. He's already been too good to me. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I feel like we have to take our pride aside in terms of the human race, like just our pride away and just saying, like, sometimes this uncomfortable stuff could be what's best for me. And sometimes, like, I feel like it could be a situation where you stay in a tough situation, but that tough situation help you to be saved. And I know that's not comfortable. I know that don't sound right. I heard a pro-black speaker say that he doesn't believe in a religion whose heaven is after you die, when we have people of other races who experience heaven on earth. And to me, I'm just like, I understand that's coming from pain. But think about if I tell you, you get 70 years of heaven and then an eternity of damnation. Or if I tell you, you get 70 years of quote unquote hell and then an eternity of salvation. Which one would you choose?
Boy, oh boy.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so, like, I ain't gonna be the one to say, because my initial point, in all honesty, was that we could see where even as a slave, Joseph was righteous and the Lord blessed him and took him out of that situation.
Mhm.
We know Joseph had a specific purpose and God was preserving Joseph for something. You know what I'm saying? But I am of the belief, bro, that everything don't have the earthly happy ending, and that's something that we mentioned earlier. You understand what I'm saying? I feel like that's entitlement. The apostles, a lot of the apostles were killed. A lot of them didn't grow old and die. You know, they wasn't the old, you know, like how in Kings, they had like old prophets and they who just was round and stuff like that. A lot of them ain't get to see that.
No.
You know, a lot of them get stoned to death, killed. You know, it's a lot of people who die in the name of Jesus. Stephen gets stoned and he was happy while he was getting stoned. Imagine that. Is that the happy ending? Truthfully, if a pastor was preaching, would he tell you, "Oh no, it can get better"? You know what I'm saying? If he could be convinced that sincerely you are blessed and you have the Holy Spirit, would he tell you that, "Oh man, this is a good thing, bro"? Or would he tell you that, "Oh, it can get better"? Or what? What would he tell you? You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, and you mentioned this earlier, the most important thing, I feel like God cares the most about getting you to heaven.
Mhm.
Let's get you to heaven. Even if that means I gotta hurt your feelings. See, I don't want to be, I'm not as heavily minded as it might come off like that I'm saying right now. But I do feel like we have to be of the mindset that we shouldn't be comfortable in earth. We shouldn't be looking at earth as our destination. And so when we experience some type of hardship or something, that should just be a reminder that I should hate this world. I can't love this world because this is the world that I love. The world that could enslave me. The world that could sell me into slavery by my own brothers. This is the world I must love. I can't love this world. You understand? I gotta love going to heaven. I can't put my fruits into gaining the world, especially not at the expense of my soul.
It appears that Joseph, the butler, and the baker all have some commonalities. But besides being imprisoned, they're all dreamers. The butler's fate? Returning to the palace in 3 days. But the baker was to be hung in 3 days. But where does that leave Joseph? I guess we'll talk about that on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by Jayden Roberts, along with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.